Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're zeroing in on a really cool piece of tech, the core booster, specifically how it shows up in Mobile Suit Gundam, the origin and the Cucuruz Doan's Island movie.
Yeah, and it's more than just a vehicle, isn't it? It really tells you a lot about the tactical thinking and the tech development in this version of the Universal Century.
Exactly. We've got the manga, the film, some extra materials to pull from. So our mission basically is to figure out why this core booster matters in the origin timeline. What makes it tick?
Okay, so starting with the origin itself.
Yeah.
The big thing is it comes from the FFX-7 core fighter. But the origin core fighter, it's mostly just a fighter, maybe an escape pod.
Right. Not the core block system from the 79 show.
Yeah.
That's a fundamental shift.
It totally changes the game. So the core booster module isn't docking with a torso. It's attaching to this independent fighter craft.
Which kind of suggests a different idea behind it, doesn't it? Like, maybe less about into, well, something beefier, a heavy fighter.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And you even hear whispers, like informed discussions, about maybe a smaller, more fighter-like booster variant in Origin, suggests they were playing around with the concept.
It feels very Origin, that iterative design approach.
Yeah.
Using what you have. Okay, so technical stuff. What do we actually know about the specs for this version?
Well, that's where it gets a bit fuzzy. You often see the model number, FFX-7, some thrown around, but pin that down specifically in Origin canon, it's tricky. And a lot of the specs people quote, length 13.8 meters, speed Mach 5.38, that kind of thing. They mostly seem to trace back to the original MSV line or the movies from 79.
Ah, okay. So the origin sources themselves often just say unknown.
Pretty much. It's a notable difference. We should definitely flag that for you listening. The details are often assumed, not explicitly stated in Origin.
But we know who flies them, right? Salamass, Slegerlaw. It's not tied to just one main character.
Yeah.
Shows it's a key white base asset.
Exactly. And versatile, too, especially the weapons. They change depending on the mission, like down on Earth during the Odessa campaign.
Big machine guns, right. Cannons. Good for shooting down DOPs and other atmospheric craft. Maybe missiles underneath, too.
Yeah, geared for ground support and air superiority. But then, when they go to space, they swap those out.
Well,
Mega particle cannons. MPCs. Basically beam weapons, kind of like the Gundam's rifle, so it can actually take on enemy mobile suits.
so it adapts. That's pretty neat. And it still has the original core fighter's little Vulcan guns in the nose, presumably.
Seems so, yeah. The fixed armament. What's less clear in Origin is whether the core fighter's own missile launchers, the ones in the fuselage, are still usable once the booster's attached.
Good point. If not, then those swappable booster weapons become even more important.
Definitely. Now, arguably, one of its biggest roles in Origin is the subflight system capability, the SFS.
Ah, yes, carrying the Gundam. Because those early Earthbound mobile suits, they couldn't fly on their own.
Exactly. So the core booster acts like a high-speed taxi, getting the Gundam or even GMs into the fight quickly. It fills that role the G-Fighter had in the original show, but, with the Origin aesthetic.
And it works in space, too, not just atmosphere. That high speed, Mach 5.38, even with the source caveats, makes it a pretty effective platform.
Looking at this story, in the Origin manga, it shows up around Odessa. Sleger's flying at first, doing recon, air combat.
And it's pretty key for Sayla's development, too, right? I think she gets her first kill in it.
She does. A major step for her as a pilot. And like we said, it ferries the Gundam around Odessa, investigating things. Then later, with the NPCs fitted for space, Sayla really makes it her own.
It just slots right into that support role vacated by the G-Fighter concept. Heavy fire support, MS transport. But it looks like it belongs in Origin.
And then there's the Cucuruz Doan's Island movie. Sayla's piloting it again, part of the mission to Allegranza Island.
We see it carrying Slager's GM, too, right? So definite confirmation of that SFS role on screen.
Absolutely. But, crucially in the film, Sayla's core booster gets pretty badly damaged.
Yeah.
It forces her to crash land.
Oh, yeah, that really ramps up the tension, isolates the team, shows Doan Zaku is no joke. It drives the whole plot forward.
For sure. And that movie version, sometimes called Version 2 Island, even got its own model kit. Shows its impact.
So, wrapping things up, the Origin Core Booster is this unique take, derived differently. Adaptable weapons, vital SFS function, big narrative impact in the manga and the movie.
Yeah, cleverly bridges the function of the old G-Fighter with the more grounded design style of the Origin, even if some of the exact tech specs are still a bit hazy within that specific continuity.
Absolutely. Its impact is clear, even with those unknowns. So here's something for you to chew on. Think about how these adaptable support craft, like the core booster, reflect real-world military doctrine. Even in sci-fi, you see this need for versatile platforms. What does its evolution within Gundam tell us about how forces, fictional or real, have to adapt to stay effective against changing threats? Something to ponder.